No.
So Whiplash and
Watch
Ride
this.
is a good movie.
I am Iron Man.
Serious?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another X-Men review. So we got Christian Hawkins,
Jonah Morgan.
Big Beef.
New face, big B.
New Face.
New Face.
Second video.
Yeah, second video.
We're in the same clothes from last video.
Yep.
Because,
Yeah,
I didn't shower.
We explained it in the Wolverine, but today we're going to be talking about what I consider the best X-Men movie in X-Men Days of Future Past.
I'm scrolling through the cast and it's oh my goodness. And it's absolutely crazy.
You guys remember? If you guys remember in the Wolverine, we said that the main character was the only good character in that movie. This is
the opposite.
This is quite the opposite. Where not only is the main character just as good because it's the same main character.
Listen, how many times do you think you've watched this movie, Christian?
Oh, can't put a number to it. This is the X-Men movie I've seen the most.
I think I might have you beat. Dude, I don't think you understand. My dad loves this movie, so we watched this so many times. All right, we're probably close in terms of how many times we watched this. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, what do we start with? Let's start with the intro because I love it.
The intro, I feel like, is where we have to start with because it sets the tone for the movie.
Yeah, the whole tone. Like, first off, you're seeing all of the most known X-Men just immediately get, like, obliterated by these Sentinels. And it's absolutely crazy because, like, you don't expect, like...
Yeah, this is the first time you see Ian McKellen as Magneto, well, aside from the Wolverine post-credit scene, since...
Last Stand.
Yeah, since Last Stand.
And so people got hype. Mm-hmm. Same thing with. Well, no, you don't see Professor X immediately. You see Ian.
No. You see Magneto with him.
You don't see them in the intro though.
The intro is, I probably would say, as many of the well-known ones.
Bishop, Iceman,
Sunspot,
Kitty Pryde.
Who's a big part of this movie. Colossus.
Storm.
You don't see Storm for a little bit.
This is our first time we saw...
Blake.
Go back to...
And Warpath.
Go back to Bishop. This was our first time seeing Bishop in live action.
And it's a really good actor for it.
It's a really good Bishop.
I love Omar Sy.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's most notably in Jurassic World.
Yeah, as
I forgot
his partner.
I forgot his name yet.
I know who you're talking about though.
Is he in all three of them?
I don't remember.
He's in the third one, I know.
I imagine he's in the second one.
He's in Dominion?
Huh.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
I don't remember him, but I don't remember much about it. But anyways, not what we're talking about. But no, yeah, that beginning scene, it sets the tone, it sets up everything of what happens in this movie where, especially with someone like Kitty Pryde, she's kind of the whole reason this movie happens, because she's able to send people back. Yeah.
Dude, Sentinels look awesome.
They look
awesome.
awesome.
Sentinels are crazy. Like,
they look...
in my opinion, it's probably one of the best Sentinel designs.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of, to me at least, it looks like the Destroyer from Thor. And because one of their faces opens.
Yeah, I mean, it was, what is it? This is one of the first times that we've seen a Sentinel besides the little tease in
Last Stand.
Yeah,
normally they're massive,
they're
like
huge.
Power Ranger Megazord-sized robots.
But in these, they're almost like adaptoids.
They're like which makes them scarier, because then they're human-sized, so it's not just like big robots where you can, like, I don't want to say deal with them easier.
Because
in this case,
their thing is, the key to their powers is mystique.
She drives this movie more than anything else.
Oh yeah.
The key to their powers is mystique because that's the entire plot of this. Is they're trying to go back in time and prevent Mystique from killing
Baldwin Trask,
the creator of the Sentinels, because she thought that her killing him was going to stop the Sentinels, but that's what pushes them to be used. So
because they decide that, like, mutants are unsafe in that new type of, I guess, gene pool.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like too intense for them.
And so they send back none other than...
They send back Wolverine because he's the only one. Because they originally were going to do Professor X, but Kitty Pryde said that she's only able to send people back a week, maybe a month. Any further back than that, it essentially breaks their mind apart. And then Wolverine says, well, what if your mind has a way of snapping back? And that was the sign. And which is weird because there are so many better people to send back in terms of, people with people skills. But since he's the only one that can make that journey.
Yeah. So let's
And I feel like we've talked ad nauseum about how Hugh Jackman as the character is just the best, but I feel like it just needs to be repeated here because
I will say one thing: I wish we saw his
costume more. I love his costume.
His costume in the actual
his costume you see in the future, yeah.
Because you get like the light hints of blue and yellow throughout it, and it's just
and the rest of the movie he's just wearing like jeans.
Yeah.
Which I'm not complaining about.
I'm not complaining.
No,
like that in my opinion, that outfit that he normally goes with is a fire outfit. It is still a fire outfit.
Flannel? Is there a flannel? There's a jacket.
He had a brown leather jacket.
Brown leather jacket.
I think it was a blue button-up and the white tank top. Was his like
the white tank top is always his go-to.
Oh, the white tank top is always his
go-to. My favorite character almost favorite character in the history of superhero movies is where he is almost most prominent. It is Michael Fassbender's Magneto. Oh my goodness. I love him.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the dynamic between Charles Xavier and actual Magneto is the best in this movie.
Yes.
Because we actually get to see how these two people who were once very close and best friends, we see the aftermath of their fallout and how both of their differences, they're wanting the same thing, but they're wanting to execute it in such a different way.
And this movie does the same exact thing as First Class in that it explains an historical event in terms of the mutants. In First Class, it is the Cuban Missile Crisis. In this, the reason that Magneto's in jail is because of JFK.
Yeah.
Is because everyone thinks that he killed JFK. Because how does a bullet curve? But he claims that he tried to save the president.
Because he ended up saying that he was a mutant too.
He said that JFK was a mutant.
JFK was one of us, which is crazy.
Like tying it into a real world thing like that. Like in First Class, it was crazy because JFK was the president of the Cuban Missile Crisis. He was the one that dealt with that. So the fact that they went back to that again.
It happened.
The correlation was crazy. And honestly, I love movies that tie into actual things that happen and
it feels like it makes sense.
What year does this movie take place?
This movie?
Yes.
It goes back into the 70s.
70s.
Because JFK dies in '63, which means he's been in prison for a while.
God, but whatever. Quicksilver.
I love Quicksilver.
Quicksilver's sequence is by far probably one of the best things that have happened in recent years of superhero movies.
And he does it yet again in Apocalypse. It's one of the few good parts of Apocalypse that I love.
Yeah.
But the guy that plays Quicksilver is...
And now Evan Peters is such
Evan Peters is so good.
He's great.
Anyway,
such a good casting.
And then...
And again, that scene is just so cool, especially with the music choice.
If I could save time in a bottle.
One thing that makes no sense to me, though, is how is he able to listen to that, normally?
Yes.
While he's running around.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Because, realistically speaking, all the stuff he did would probably only be in, the, if I, and that's it. That's all he had.
Maybe.
If I, and, all because of if I, he was able to do all of that. He locked in to that section with just if I.
Maybe his music player goes fast. Maybe his music player, he's
imagine a music player.
He's a smart dude.
Yeah, but imagine a music player going at that speed in the 70s.
He's a mutant.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They have mutants.
You got me there.
Yeah, can't argue with that one. I will say I respect the intertwining of the original cast members that showed up in the first 3 X-Men movies. Obviously, we have Colossus showing up, the original actor for that, and then the OG Storm coming in. I love that, but also just seeing the characters that appeared in First Class as well, both taking place in this one movie.
Oh yes, because you see Havoc.
I think this is one of the best shots in any movie.
Oh, I wouldn't say any movie, but I definitely love seeing old and young Charles Xavier seeing each other and having a conversation with each other.
Because in this movie, James McAvoy is fantastic because his whole thing is he is taking a drug, a drug that Beast or Hank developed that lets him walk but takes away his powers.
And it's also because Hank had said that he takes it enough to keep himself balanced where he can still use it on command. but Charles takes too much.
He takes it to where like it just completely numbs his power so he can walk.
Yep.
And then, so since they need his powers, he obviously stops taking it, and then...
Which is a great character moment for him.
And then he has a conversation with Patrick Stewart.
Which is one of the best scenes.
Fantastic.
If not in any movie, for sure in any superhero movie.
And I mean, I would have to say Patrick Stewart is probably one of the best adaptations of Charles Xavier.
Oh, hands down.
I mean, I think both castings was beautiful. It was
For
such a
both.
smart idea. I mean, for both versions, and also both versions of Magneto.
Yeah, I was about to say for both Charles and
Michael
Eric.
Fassbender's my dad.
Both.
Hey yo.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's any bad casting in this movie, or any bad acting. Question. Oh wait, no, I remember you see Havoc. Never mind.
What?
I forgot when you see Havoc, but that's another cool scene.
Yes,
First
he's in.
scene
Yes,
Mystique,
Mystique.
and it's with all of those.
Because she breaks out him, Toad, Quill? No, it's not Quill.
The only one that really matters is Havoc. Let's be honest.
Is it Quill? I don't know. But yes, you see Mystique disguised as
Just one of the top generals.
who is talking to Stryker.
Stryker, which is a really big thing for Wolverine, because in a later scene, when they get to Mystique,
Oh yeah, he has like PTSD.
when she was originally going to shoot Trask in the original timeline, and then it's changed, and then Kitty Pryde's whole thing that he tells Logan is think peaceful thoughts, because if he gets too rocky, he'll slip through the timeline.
Oh yes, and then he ignites his claws and cuts Kitty Pryde.
And then he won't be able to, or then Kitty won't be able to keep track of him and keep him in that timeline. So when he sees Stryker, it triggers essentially a PTSD.
Yes, and then he forgets where he is.
Because then with that timeline, Wolverine goes back in, and he has a really funny line of, "What the hell is that?" when he sees Beast.
Which is crazy because in the director's cut, after that happened, and Kitty Pryde got cut, it was actually supposed to be, which if you see in the cast on the thing, it was actually going to be Rogue after that. Rogue was supposed to take her place for the rest of the movie.
Dope.
Because you see her in the theatrical version, she's in also at the very end for like 10 seconds.
Oh, you see her in the background.
Yeah, it's up close with you see Iceman.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they were supposed
Which
to
makes
have
sense because I believe Rogue played a really big role in Days of Future Past in the comic. I believe. I could be misremembering. I just remember she played a bigger role, but I mean she had no role.
In the 90s.
But that's also because back then.
Well, no, yes she does. Yes, she does.
During that time, she also has Miss Marvel's powers, but they couldn't bring Miss Marvel's powers into it because she was an actual like Disney's Marvel property, rather than the actual like Fox universe.
Yeah, it was a character that Fox didn't own,
which really nerfed how god tier, I guess, Rogue is in the X-Men. Like she's very powerful.
Yeah, extremely so.
Because she has super strength and can fly,
and can also literally take anybody's powers at the same time too.
Yeah. But no, and that was another thing was they had to restrain Logan at that because when in that moment of seeing Stryker, he like just starts flailing everywhere and cuts Kitty.
Oh,
and
Trask.
I was about to say, what do you think of Peter Dinklage?
I love Peter Dinklage.
It's really funny going from Last Stand when they go, "This is Secretary Trask here," and it's a black dude.
Oh yeah, it's like a taller black guy.
And then you go to this one, which takes place prior, and it goes, how do you go from Peter Dinklage?
I think this is fantastic.
No, it's great.
I love Peter. I also just love Peter Dinklage.
No, he's great. He's
in the greatest movie of all time, Pixels.
Oh God, he was in that.
Yeah, he's
he was a cheater. Yeah.
Yeah. He's also in Infinity War.
Yep. And a bunch of other stuff.
He's one of the
Game of Thrones.
I was about to say Game of Thrones.
But Peter Dinklage is very, very good.
Yeah.
Also, one of the best scenes in the history of superheroes is the train station or the airport. When
Charles is going between people.
Charles goes between people and try to talk to her, and at one point, like it's just him and he sees her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I did like that a lot.
You didn't?
No, I said I did like that a lot.
Jeepers.
I would say, as when we hit that final act of the movie.
Do we want to get final sequence?
I feel like we can, because unless there's anything before that, oh, actually no. There's one scene I want to talk about that happens earlier in the movie. The scene with the Eric and Charles' argument on the plane.
Oh my god, it's great. It's
when Eric could have murdered all of them.
Yeah.
When he's also crushing the plane at the same time.
Yeah. No,
First off, scaring the shit out of Hank.
Yes, because Hank's flying.
He's all flying. He's like, "What's going on? What's happening?"
Because you see like his like level thing just doing.
Yeah.
Yes, you should tick off Magneto while you were in a metal airplane.
It's the fact that Charles was saying, "You abandoned me," and then Eric starts listing off all the. I'm guessing all the other people that were in first class who I guess we just have to assume that they died. Like Banshee, Emma Frost,
yes,
all of them, we just assume they died. And God, Michael Fassbender is just a gift to this earth.
Oh, Michael Fassbender. And guess what? This isn't even the best that he gets because I think he's better.
I
think he's better.
I think he gets his best scene in Apocalypse. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he is the best in Apocalypse.
Yeah. In my opinion, he's probably the one that carries Apocalypse.
Oh, he is.
I happily watched Apocalypse because of him, and I happily watched this movie because of him also. He picks up an MLB stadium.
Yeah, he does. That's real. Oh,
yes, because in first class he struggles to pick up a submarine.
Here, he picked up
because he's not fully in tune with his powers yet, and he picks up an entire stadium,
which makes sense here because it's 10 years after. So
also, one of the coolest suits in the history of history.
It looks really cool.
Is Magneto's suit.
The extremely dark red borderline, like
yes, it's almost brown.
What's crazy is like that outfit just comes out of nowhere too. Like we did not expect Magneto to go this far.
We see him get his helmet back when he's.
Oh, that sequence of getting the helmet too, like that slow motion sequence of it just.
Oh yes, when he does that, it's so.
That's so.
Also, within that sequence, seeing all of the past people that was actually at the Missile Crisis at the end of first class, seeing like the wing. I can't remember her name. No, she's not Angel.
No, Zoe Kravitz.
I think her name is Angel, but she's another one called Angel.
Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, I think she goes by Angel.
Yes, I think it is Angel. Because it's dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb.
But, like, seeing all the past characters, like, things that they kept.
Yeah, because you had Havoc's chest thing.
Angel Salvador.
Yeah, and then you had some of Angel's wings, and then the helmet. No, that was cool.
Yeah.
But then when that final thing... It has this really good sense of a ticking clock element to it. You see the Sentinels find them in the future... And it gives all the more pressure in the people in the past to sort things out.
Okay, and then Storm kills like 100 of them.
A Storm kills a lot of them, but then when that Sentinel jumps out of nowhere and stabs her, and it's just, oh
man,
so she died.
Yeah, she died.
And then that with also like,
and then Bishop blows up.
Bishop blowing up, Magneto being actually backtrack it, going
Magneto's
to Colossus's the teleporting. Like the speed thing where he jumped off and he's flying.
Oh, yeah, that was after that, yeah.
He's like flying through and stuff, and he like.
And then makes another one. It's like it goes like this portal,
boom, and it's like so fast. And I think that was such a really cool sequence.
That was clever.
But like seeing Magneto get stabbed from like the debris from the actual like ship as well.
Because that was right before you see him get stabbed, and that's right before you see Storm you get jump scared by Storm dying.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that in the theater, and just dead silence, and then just like Sentinel screen just jumps out of that made me jump in a theater back in 10 years ago. That hurt to say.
It's 2 hours and 11 minutes too.
It flies by. It really does. One thing I find interesting about the final battle is the fact that Wolverine kind of gets taken out of the fight really early.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. In a fight with Magneto, Wolverine is useless.
Well, the thing is, back then he didn't have his metal claws or anything. We literally saw, what is it, the poles and stuff? Or like the bars?
Yeah, the rebar.
The rebar literally get molded into him, and he literally gets like...
And I think it's interesting because earlier in the film when they're going into the plane, and Magneto goes to grab a newspaper, Wolverine's looking at it, uses his bone claws to stop it, and then he goes, imagine if they were metal. And he probably went, oh, I know. First time I met you stopped me doing that.
That's why. I think that's why he does it. Is because he's like alluding to.
And like he also talked about how like Wolverine was a survivor. He called himself a survivor.
Yeah, it's like so much for being a survivor.
So much for being a survivor, and then he gets like pushed away into the water.
Mm-hmm.
Where he remains.
And he's taken out.
Where he remains for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I just found that interesting where he's essentially the main character and he's taken out. But that's another thing I like is that this movie shows that Wolverine is not the only... The X-Men is not all about Wolverine.
Because it shows that Wolverine is not as powerful as everyone made it out to be in the previous movies and stuff. It's not about Wolverine. Wolverine is a very handy person in the X-Men, and he's very helpful, but he's not like, I mean, for God's sakes, if we put in like the comic road, bodies Wolverine.
we're
obviously
done for.
Like Magneto, literally not the regular, but like the adamantium Wolverine, it's over with. It's done.
He could rip him apart.
Exactly. Like,
because the thing is, it didn't matter who you are. I don't think you're doing a lot against Magneto. I genuinely
Magneto's one of the strongest people.
Magneto solos most everyone in this movie except maybe Professor X if he doesn't have the helmet.
Exactly.
So I think it works because he dispatches a Wolverine who's one of the strongest X-Men in 2 seconds.
So quick.
Yeah.
And the only way he is able to be talked down is
by Mystique.
Mystique.
By pretending to be the president. And then the Sentinel, Beast takes the thing to get the Sentinel from not attacking him, and then it goes after Magneto, and that throws him off guard for Rogue. Mystique to shoot him, but grazes his neck.
Grazes.
And I like the line he has. Oh man, what did he say? Like, used to be a better shot. Trust me, I still am. And it's like a spinning kick, and then there's that great scene between Mystique and Professor X, just saying. And
he's all yours, Charles.
He's all yours, Charles.
Yeah, well, no, not even that, but it's
when
she's got the gun pointed at
the plastic gun,
Trask, and the entire movie has been this thing of Charles kind of been controlling Raven, maybe not so much his intention, but he was
trying to.
So then he decides, this is your choice. I trust you, but this is all on you. Mm-hmm. And it has that good 1-to-1 of the Sentinels walking into that room with where Wolverine and all of them are at. And then Mystique drops the gun, and then that just barely saves the timeline. And then it's
the good time crunch feel that we have.
Yeah, because it has you going.
Is it actually going to work? Is it going to happen?
Because she sits there for a solid 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Plotting if she should do it or not.
Yeah, and then you get that.
She's all yours, Charles.
Yeah, and then you get the great.
That's really good in my opinion.
Yeah. And then you get that great scene at the very end where you see the Wolverine waking back up in the X-Mansion. You just see everybody is back.
All the original characters.
All of them, you obviously see Storm, you see Beast again. In the theatrical version, that's when you see Rogue again. And my favorite moment in that is when he sees Jean, and then when Scott comes out, and he's just... I love when Wolverine and Scott just get along and they're like brothers. Because he puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, "It's good to see you, Scott." And then Scott's like, "Okay."
Yeah. All right.
And I love the line between him and Professor X. Don't you have a class to teach? Yeah, history. Yeah, I could use a little bit of that right now. Yeah. Which makes so much sense that he'd be a history teacher.
And then you see the close up of Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier go, "You're back."
Yeah.
And then he says we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. And I love what he said, because right before the fight started, he said, Logan said, "Promise me you'll find us, Jean, Scott, all of us." Mm-hmm. And then at the end, they follow up on that where he goes, "Well, yeah, I had a promise to keep."
Exactly.
And then you see the young Wolverine, them finding his body, and then Mystique, this guy's a Stryker, setting up the changes, and where he still became the way he is with the adamantium, but showing that the timeline is changed. Because that's the thing with the end of this movie. This movie changes the X-Men timeline.
Yes,
in this new timeline, the original 3 movies don't happen the way they do. The Wolverine doesn't happen the way it does. So, starting with the end of Days of Future Past is where we get the timeline of Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, the Deadpool movies, Logan. All of those movies take place in this new timeline made at the very end. God, is there anything else?
It's great.
Soundtrack, fire.
Oh yeah,
yes,
for sure. Absolutely.
That and CGI. I think this is probably the best that the CGI is.
Yeah, I'd have to.
And the soundtrack, it's just fire.
Rose, you're still singing it right
now. Oh man, is there anything else?
God, I love Michael Fassbender.
I think that may be about it.
God, I love this movie.
God, I love Michael Fassbender.
Should we? I don't want to miss anything, but I feel like we've covered all the bases. Final scores?
Honestly, I'd say out of all of the other X-Men, it's the best one, so I would give it like a 9.5.
Okay. What do you say?
Is correct.
I can say mine if you want me to.
What did I give X2?
8.7. Sounds right.
Zach stealing my score.
Are you thinking 9.5?
I just don't want
Terry.
9.6, sucker.
Okay. I'm happy for you, Quinn.
I don't know because I can't think of anything that I'm wrong.
I mean, the fact that I can't think of anything wrong is exactly why I give this a 10.
What brings it
10
down?
out of 10, baby!
Nah, man, what brings it down for me is the time in the bottle part. It's a good scene.
Stop.
It's a good thing. But there's no way, bro, listen to that whole song.
I don't care.
There's no
I
way.
can't bring it down. You stop.
No, there's no way you listen to that whole song.
I think my thing is like the tiniest nitpick I could get is just not seeing more of this costume that Wolverine has, but it's the tiniest nitpick possible, so I really don't care.
I'm giving it a 10.
Yeah! I mean, if I were to list off my top 5 favorite Marvel movies right now, this is number 4 or 5. I mean, I think this is this in my top 10 favorite movies?
I mean, it has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and for
This is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Yep.
Yeah, for the group score, it's 91%.
People have good
91,
taste.
91%.
People have good
Well,
taste.
I had nostril problems. Sorry.
No, yeah. In my best X-Men movie.
Bryan Singer, 8 with this movie.
Oh, for sure. When the first 2 X-Men movies were as good as they were, and every movie after that being questionable unless you were first class, you just know you had to bring him back because he knows what he's doing with X-Men. It's been proven, and he proved it even more with this film. God, this movie's so good. But that is going to do it for our review of X-Men Days of Future Past. Stay tuned for next time where we get to such a fun movie.
Yay!
With Deadpool.
Deadpool.
My second dad. Anyways.
Be sure to let us know what you guys thought of Days of Future Past down below in the comments, and we will see you guys next time for Deadpool. Later, webheads!